Welcome back to Us Against the World. She laughs at me. This is great. This is officially episode 2, and I'm excited about it. We're talking about navigating challenges in your family, in your marriage. Sometimes challenges come because of something that you do, and sometimes challenges just come. Nothing you could have done to stop it, nothing you did to make it bad. It just life came and was rough, and it makes an impact. I don't want to say negatively, but it makes an impact on your marriage, and it could go very negatively. Actually, we've seen it go negatively. So yeah, talking about challenges. What is a challenge that you feel like many couples face, but maybe also something that we face?
So I think a big thing for us is the challenge of time, and a lot of couples, because American culture is so fast paced. There's so much going on. You're required to be at so many different things. You're expected to be at so many different things.
You want to be at so many different things.
Yeah, you want to be at so many different things. You want to do so many different sports. You want to...
you want your kids involved. You want to
Yeah,
be involved.
exactly.
You want to do
Yeah.
things. You
They
have
will-
friends.
Yeah, we're a busy group. We're a busy family, and we don't mind being busy, but also we have to find the balance of too busy, and how are we balancing this with interaction with each other, because we could just easily live our lives just going and being together but not really being together.
Yeah.
Quantity time but not quality time.
That's what I was going to say. And I think in one of our later episodes, we'll talk about like the love languages. I think that'll be a good thing to talk through. If you don't know the love languages, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. And he breaks down basically like how people receive and give love.
And we'll talk about it the next time.
Yes.
Okay.
And we will talk about it the next time. But I definitely think time comes into an issue there because, as you pointed out just now, we could be together hanging out at a ball game or hanging out, at church
Worship
doing
practice.
practice. Yeah, that's something that we do often. And to me, I'm like, girl, we were together. Life is great. What do you mean? I saw
was
you
in
for
the
the
drum
last.
cage and you were playing the piano. We were together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was not together.
I'm like, I saw you for the last 6 hours. Like, life's good. She's like, no. Well, or flip it a little bit. Even I think sometimes here, I like to. A thing that I appreciate is we watch a show together, and it's like, yeah. But sometimes, she falls asleep. And so it's not really quality time.
Tired.
Yeah, it's just like we're sitting next to each other at least, but it's not really quality time. So getting that quality time is definitely a struggle. So what are ways that we've successfully helped ourselves with quality times, and then what are ways that we still struggle?
Okay. What are we good at? Well, you can say the thing you thought of today that we're good at.
Oh,
time.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if this was the Lord, but all of a sudden I just had a thought, right? And I was encouraged. So I'll say it was from the Lord. Something that I feel like I'm very intentional about, but it's because she's intentional about it, is we always, as a family, sit down and have at least lunch together. Many times dinner as well, but
We're going into a busy season.
right.
We
So
probably won't do dinner.
well, or at least it'll be a very fast-paced dinner. Like tonight was a little bit more of a fast-paced dinner, although technically we ate with the kids. But lunch is definitely like sit down, everybody at the table, no TV on, no nothing, and we're trying to talk, and we're like, David, Anna, tell me about your day at school. Tell me about what was the most fun thing you did today. And I don't know. As I was thinking about that, I was like, okay, this is good. Not many dads have the opportunity to come home for lunch every single day and have lunch with their kids. And so I was like, thank you, Lord, for that opportunity, and help me to keep doing it. I hope it's something that my kids will always remember. I hope it's something that my wife appreciates. I think it is,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I think it's huge for us. Like it's a time where we're all together and we get to eat a meal together.
Yeah.
So I think that's something we do well, time management wise.
You want to do another thing that we do well?
Sure. Yeah.
I think that, like, we have really tried with the kids. We have a lot of church events, and so we bring them to a lot of different places, and we try to point out the positives of going to this. Like, hey, the cool thing about this is that you get the day off school, and you get to do this, and you get to do that, and we get to point out fun things that they get to do.
Yeah.
But also, like, when we have a funeral at church, we usually try to go and take them out for lunch afterwards to McDonald's or somewhere they want to go. Or if we've had a long weekend of a lot of stuff happening at the church that we've just had a lot of time, not as a family, we'll try to go take them somewhere that they like to do, or treat them to something, so that it's always with a positive, like,
yeah.
Hey, I like to go. I know this sounds bad, but I like to go to funerals because we always go to McDonald's afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
Like, not giving them that mentality of dreading things, because, like,
we don't want them to despise church.
Yeah.
Even though that's what I do for work,
Yeah.
it's how they will. We
They're
want
gonna
them to
perceive.
connect with Jesus at church,
Yeah.
and so we don't want them to perceive church in a negative light. So even the fact that, I mean, I don't let kids get in the drum cage, but I let my kid get in the drum cage.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, I must say.
Yes. Yeah, and so we try to point those things out to them, because a lot of our time is taken up there. But I think they do really enjoy it because they've realized, this is not so bad. I do get to go with my dad to work sometimes.
Right.
You know.
We get to go to these different churches or these different places and stay.
And so I think with that is including your kids on things that you don't think you can include them on. Bring your kids with you, you know.
Yeah, my kids have gone to high school camp, and
they love it.
Yeah, and it's great, and the high schoolers treat them like gold. It's very nice.
So I think if you don't have time, find something where you can include your kids on something that you think would be monotonous for them, and somehow turn it exciting for them, because they're gonna take that as a good memory. Like, I always remember when Dad had to go get the oil changed. He'd always take me with him and do this and
which
that,
is funny because I've been trying to do that. Like, I changed the oil outside. I've been like, David, why don't you help me out and hand me that wrench over there, you know, and just trying to teach him the names of tools, and even if he's not really helping me and probably genuinely slowing me down a little bit, it's like, but he hopefully will remember this and know that, hey, I know how to do that. My dad showed me how to do that.
Because you spent time with him.
Right.
Even though you had to do something, we make it interactive.
Yeah. Make the best out of what we have. So what are some things that we do poorly?
You go ahead.
So we've done it well one time. And we say
One time.
and we say we're going to do it well. We say we're going to do it and get it right, but we just haven't. And that's putting us on the calendar.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think confession. Hello, this is us against the world, and we're not perfect. But putting us on the calendar, I think we tend to prioritize our kids, our work, maybe other people, and that sounds really bad to say out loud, but like, it's not. We're not intentionally doing it that way, but we tend to put those things on the calendar instead of putting us on the calendar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do disagree with the people who say you have to have a date night every week. Every week you need to take your wife on a date, and which is good in theory, but sometimes it's just not possible. And so I do think you should have a date night every week, but what has happened and worked for us is that we do a date night where we put it in the calendar and we write down what we're going to do, because it always ends up being like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And then we just sit there till 10 o'clock and,
stare at each other.
Be like, I don't know. What do you want to do? And so we've done at-home dates where we'll put the kids down and we'll be like, all right, tonight we're playing a game.
Yeah.
And we'll even write on the calendar what game we're playing. So that night we don't even have to think about it. We're like, oh, this is the night we're playing this game. Or we'll say we're gonna
cook.
Yeah, we're gonna cook this meal.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're gonna, what else have we done?
We've said we were gonna like watch a movie or watch a show, which
Yeah.
was fine, but it was like this is what our date's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Record a podcast like that. That was kind of, I mean, this is kind of spending time together. We're talking about our lives. I don't consider this quality time, but he does. I mean, it's
medium.
It's like medium.
Yeah.
It's medium.
But for me, I'll be full, but you'll be medium.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's an area we can improve.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can improve there. What else?
What else do we not do well?
Time.
Like, and maybe not just time management, but like what else in our marriage, right? Challenges in our marriage. So time is a challenge in our marriage. What's another maybe challenge in our marriage?
Another challenge.
I mean, I think time.
I'm really tired.
Time.
I'm tired.
Time.
That's a challenge. No, it's not really, but it's fine.
I mean, I think a challenge sometimes is I don't want to say parenting, but like how we respond in parenting.
Because we're tired, or because there's not a lot of time.
Right, and so it's like, okay, or maybe you didn't like how I responded in a certain way, or I was so done with your patience that I didn't appreciate how patient you were with one of our children, or maybe there have been times where
the opposite.
Yeah, when I'm
where
like,
you
well, you
are really being patient with them. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
they've been like this all day long.
and that's
So,
and so I think that's a challenge sometimes in not getting angry at each other.
Yeah. And I think we've done pretty well with that challenge of, I don't know, we kind of somehow we communicate to each other like,
I get
chill
that.
out.
Nathan?
I'll be like, Nate. Or he'll be like, Andrea.
I'll stand up fast and she'll give me the Nathan. And I know that's the
calm down.
Relax.
Don't
take
lose it.
Take a breath.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that we have fewer arguments about how we discipline because we talk about it before it happens. You know, a lot of times.
Yeah, we're still talking about it. 10 years in, we're
Yeah.
still talking about it.
Well, 7 years in, we're
Sure.
talking about kids. But, you know, we discuss what happened and why they had a meltdown and how we handled it, how we can handle it better next time, how we're going to work together better next time. I think communication has been really helpful in parenting challenges because, yes, maybe you'll mess up this time together, but then the next time, we've already had this conversation. Nathan doesn't want me to be so lenient on this area. Let me go ahead and discipline, or you know, or he's like, I need to just be more patient. Like this certain kid doesn't respond well to this
this form of
energy.
discipline. Yeah.
And so just communicating well has helped that challenge a lot.
That's good. I like what you said, like kind of going over, this is what happened, this is why we thought it happened, and this is how we responded, and maybe this is how we could respond better.
Yeah. And even there's been times where I'd be like, I understand they're really acting up, but, you know, you do realize yesterday they had ice cream, they went and did this, they did that. And we think about, why did they have this meltdown? Why did they react like that? Why, you know,
they're super tired. They're loaded full of sugar.
Yeah. It doesn't make what they did right, and it doesn't mean that they won't get their discipline or punishment or whatever. But
there might be an underlying reason.
And so sometimes that gives me a little bit more patience to deal with them in a different way, or him, you know. So.
We'll hit that in another. We won't go there. All right. What about challenges that are not like between us, but are coming against us?
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes in your family or in your marriage, things are going to happen that are not your fault. Like nobody caused it to happen, and it's not a challenge between you that you can fix, but it's a challenge coming against you. And how we deal with that sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're difficult. So, like, it could be a loss of job, it could be sickness, it could be just financial stress. It's like, it's nobody's fault. Nothing. It's like, it's not like anybody's overspending per se, but it's just like, hey, inflation is through the roof. This is what's going on, or the roof is leaking. Whatever. It could be these kinds of challenges. And so, how have you seen us? What have we done to face those challenges? And maybe is there a story?
I think with sickness, Malachi, our youngest, has had a lot of health issues. He's 1.5, and he's been hospitalized 5 times.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 times.
Wow.
And, comparatively to some families, that's not a lot at all. I just have to say, shout out to those moms who deal with sick kids all the time, or those families who deal with sick kids and who stick together in their marriage. Because I could see how that's such a huge stressor, like when your kid is hospitalized and you're living in one world. Like, I'm living in this world of, I'm caring for the baby, I'm with the baby, I know every single moment, I know when the doctors are coming in, and I know what medicines he's given, I'm telling them every detail of his sickness, I'm telling them, I'm just regurgitating everything that I've told everybody 100 times. And then Nathan calls to ask how he's doing, and I'm like, I got to tell him again, and he's in this other world of, he's taking care of the other 2, but he has no idea really what's going on moment by moment with the baby, whom he loves just as much as I do.
Right.
And so it's that balance of, hey, I'm stressed out because I'm having to deal with so many people and make sure he's getting the best that he can get. And he's over here disciplining 2 kids, raising 2 kids, feeding 2 kids,
flying dad solo,
and working at the same time and doing all the things
Yeah.
while worrying about a baby. And so that was a huge challenge of just communicating our needs and our feelings. Like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Like, what do you want to know about the baby? Or what do you want to know about the kids?
Yeah.
I'll be like, what did you feed them? Oh my goodness. One of the hospitalizations was so crazy. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th time Malachi was hospitalized. He was in the hospital, and he has a lot of breathing issues. So anyhow, he was in there, and he was starting to do better. And so they sent us home for like a day and a half, or maybe even like 1 day.
1 day.
It was like 1 day. We
I'm
came
not
home.
sure you slept the night here.
Yeah, we didn't sleep the night here. We came home because we thought he was doing better. We stayed the day, and that night I was like, we got to go back to the hospital. Like, I've got to take the baby back.
Yeah.
And during the day, our oldest was like, I don't feel well. And like, he was just acting like he was tired. I was like, okay. And as I was leaving, I'm like, he really doesn't feel well. Like, he was sleeping on the couch, and he doesn't sleep.
No.
I'm like, there's something wrong with our oldest now. And now I'm going to the hospital thinking, well, now my baby's sick, and now my oldest is at home, and I can't even take care of him. And Nathan has to take care of him, which is fine, but it's different. You want your mom when you're sick, Yeah. So Nathan takes David to the doctor because David has a high fever, so sick the next day. Comes back, calls me, says David has COVID. I'm like, oh, great. So first one's in the hospital. David has COVID. They're so sick.
So then we go to bed that night, and we go to pick up my dad the next day because my dad
lives in Florida.
had already planned. He's like, if Malachi goes in the hospital again, I'm coming to help you out.
Yeah.
Because he knew, like, I wanted to see the baby, and it's been a lot being here and all that. And so we go pick him up the next day, come back, we quarantine David downstairs, and we're about ready to watch. I think it was either the World Baseball Classic or the World Series was coming on. It was something baseball, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh, sweet, I get to watch this game with my dad. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. So I send David to bed, make sure he's got water, he's good. I get Anna ready to go to bed, and I go tuck her in, and I saw her playing with this penny in her bed, and I literally thought to myself, This girl never puts anything in her mouth. Like, I don't need to move this penny. I don't even need to say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
She's 4 at this time.
Yeah, she's 4. She's good. Like,
she's a very mature 4.
Yeah, she's good. So I tuck her in, say goodnight, give her a kiss, whatever. Shut the door, come back out here to the living room. And all of a sudden I hear like a cough and then crying. And I just knew. You know when you just know, if you're a parent, you just know. It's like, I just knew this girl swallowed this penny. And I have no idea what I'm about to do. So I go in there. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, I swallowed the penny.
No, she said.
Oh, yeah. She said the penny swallowed itself.
It swallowed itself.
The penny swallowed itself. I'm like, no. The penny does not just swallow itself. Did you have the penny in your mouth? Yes. And where is it now?
You said, did you swallow it? She goes, no, it swallowed itself. I guess it just went down without her swallowing. But
so then I'm like, okay, well, where is it? And she's like, it went down. I'm like, oh, great. So I call Andrea. Well, first I'm like, all right, cool. It went down. Can you breathe? Yeah. All right, you're good. And I'm thinking, like, we're good. We're totally good. So I call Andrea. I was like, you will not believe what's going on.
I just started laughing because I was like, if I don't
you didn't
laugh
believe
right
me for
now,
a minute. You were like,
you're
stop.
I was like, don't even joke. Like, I have a kid in the hospital. I have a kid who has COVID. And now you're telling me I have a kid who has a penny down in their belly. Like, no, you're joking. And you're like, nope, she really does.
Yep. So we called her sister, who's a nurse, and she's like, you might want to just take her just in case, make sure it got to her stomach. So we drive to the hospital. I take Anna. I leave David with my dad, and I take Anna.
Thank God he was here.
I know, right? I don't know. Like, that'd have been a nightmare.
I mean, you'd have taken him, but.
Yeah, but that'd have been a nightmare. So anyway, I take Anna to the hospital. We get x-rays, and sure enough, there's a penny in her belly. It's like,
went down.
What more can go wrong right now in this family? And she was fine. Like, it came out. She's fine. I don't know when it came out, but it came out. And so it's like, I remember having a conversation with some friends of ours, and they were watching our lives play out during this year and a half now. And like, wow, okay, you went to the hospital to get your baby boy, for the first time. Yeah, well, like meaning when he was born, right? And you don't get to see him for 2 days, 3 days, whatever. I mean, we saw him, but like we didn't.
I didn't get to hold him for
a while. Like I remember we ate Chick-fil-A and cried, and it was like, this chicken sandwich is so good, but it's really like we're so sad that
when the baby was born, he had breathing issues.
Yeah.
When he was born, and so we couldn't hold him. He was in the nursery.
Yeah.
Level 1 nursery, level whatever.
Not in the NICU quite, but anyway, he had his own. So it was tough.
Basically.
It was tough in that moment, and so it's emotional. It was not great, and then for him to go back in the hospital at like 3 or 4 months, and then back in the hospital again, like literally the next month, and then or
keep happening.
Like then the week after that, he was in the hospital. Like he had been, and so our friends are seeing this play out. They're like, I remember them saying, Nate, I don't understand how you guys have been so calm in this. And I don't know if maybe calm was the perception that we gave, but it was just like, you know what? We're not going to be angry at anybody.
Yeah.
There's no need to be angry at anybody. There's no need to be angry at each other. We're in this together, and we're going to fight this thing together. And the Lord's with us, and He's got it. I don't know, maybe... I think part of it for sure was like we had the peace of God.
Yeah, that definitely helped. Because, being in there with a kid who can't talk, it's very lonely. I sat for hours just by myself. I was like, I don't know if I could do this because I am very much a people person. So I was just sitting in there by myself. I mean, with the baby, but half the time he was asleep and can't really talk to me. And so, it was very lonely in those times. And I don't know, it was just, I feel like you could easily drift apart from your spouse because you could say, oh, you don't know how I feel, oh, you don't know how I feel.
Yeah.
And we were able to tell each other how we feel and how we can help each other,
Yeah, I think a big thing for us was, yes, we were talking, we were communicating, we were crying together, we were
praying together.
Yeah, we were that's for sure. Like we were praying together, and we were confident that even if we were confident Malachi was going to be okay, but even if it didn't become what we wanted it to become, which I would say it still hasn't become, at least what I wanted it to become, we still have to give him breathing treatments every single day. And again, I know we're still lucky compared to some families, but I don't like that, just being honest. I don't want that. I want him to be totally healed. But because we're praying every day, because we were communicating, it was okay. Camera died again. Life's good. Don't worry. But yeah, it's okay. Like, at the end of the day, we're okay. And we're going to make it together. And this is, again, how we have dealt with, it's us against the world. Whatever the world throws at us, we're not going to fight. I mean, we do fight. Like, I mean,
we don't really fight. We have discussions. Yeah,
that's true. But like, when the stuff that went for Malachi was nobody's fault. It's not Malachi's fault. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. It just happened. And so, you know what? Instead of taking this and taking our frustrations out on each other, let's communicate. Let's pray together, and let's work together in all of it. You know, maybe sometimes we struggle with who's going to give him his treatment tonight or whatever, you know, because we're tired or whatever, or he's being fussy with it. But you know what? There's no need to be angry with each other.
Yep. It's us against the world.
So,
have a good,
we'll see you next time.
Whatever it is to you, day or night. Good night.
Bye.